Okay, let's talk about happiness. Happiness is one of the most important and serious, you know what? Not one of the most. It's the most important and serious idea, theme in Judaism, because it reflects the understanding of the initial, of the basics, foundations of Judaism, and the way one should gain a perspective or adopt the right perspective to his life. The way he should overcome his undesirable emotions. When a person is not happy, that means a lot that is being occupied by his emotion. He is not only occupied, he is being controlled by his emotions. His emotions controls him. And when somebody is happy, happy is not an emotion. Happiness is not an emotion. Joy is not an emotion. Joy and happiness reflects in different kinds of emotions. But when you are happy, it's a state of mind. It's an understanding. It's an introspective of life. The way you prefer or you choose, the way one chooses to seize his life. That's why happiness is one of the most important and serious ideas in Judaism. And always, to gain happiness, it's a part of a work. You cannot get it without, long-term happiness, the right happiness. Happiness not because you just got something new, but happiness, long-term happiness is always involved in work. And when I mean work, it's like consciousness. It's working on yourself and seeing differently life. And it's not easy to gain happiness, but when happiness penetrates into your life, and when you choose to let happiness penetrate into your life, it changes our life. So let's delve right into the idea of happiness. What does it mean, happiness? And more important than that, what I want to do here in the next two videos is to find or to point on 7 important ideas in Jewish psychology and in Chasidism that will help us. Ideas, they are not binary ideas. Those are ideas that we have to find in our life. And each one of those ideas can help us gain happiness in our life. Those are more like meditate ideas, maybe we should call it like that. In Hebrew it calls itbonenut. It's not meditation, it's not only understanding, it's understanding and implementing. It's like understanding the idea and try to let it be a part of us. Try to let it penetrate into our life. Okay, so instead of explaining in length the idea of happiness, let's start with the solution. Those 7 ideas, I think we'll do in the first video 3 of the ideas, 3 of the contemplation that we want to contemplate on about, that will help us, encourage us to bring more happiness to our life, and they work in every situation, because we have so many blockages that block us and barriers that block us from being happy. Most of the people tell themselves, I do not deserve to be happy. The situation is like that. Things are so complicated for me. And each one of us has problems, has difficulties. And once every person says to himself, if I wouldn't have this difficulty, this problem in my life, only then I would be happy. But there is no such a time, such a space, such area without difficulties. Always we are facing someone, and it's very subjective. Each person has a block, something that is facing, a barrier that is facing, and he has to overcome that. And our natural emotions, when I mean natural emotions, those emotions that I was born with, are always block me from break my barriers and break my boundaries and become happy, because I always want to control my mind and my soul and my happiness. It's like when somebody is upset or is angry Why is he angry? He's angry because things does not go as he wanted. He wanted things to go in this right direction and they go in the opposite direction. So he is upset about things and he wants like to eliminate, to eliminate, to nullify the reality of the person that hurted him or did something to him. And what he is lacking of the right perspective, that if something happened to him, that means there is an opportunity in this something that happened. And it's not the person that did to him something. There is something in the situation that is right for him, that will help him to develop himself, to discover his attributes and his inner powers. So happiness is always hard to achieve. It's almost never natural. Only short-term happiness is natural. Long-term and deep happiness is always something that is not natural. When I mean not natural, as we say before, it's happiness that you have to work on it. You have to gain it. It's not easy to let it be a part of your life. So it's not natural. It's something that we have to work on. And when we said work, we meant by learning about it and understand how we should do that and develop our consciousness. And when we are doing that, but when you are doing that, it's like, in the physical area, when somebody discovered that he has diabetes, let's say like that. And before he discovered, it could be very ill because he didn't know that he had a disease, he had the problem. Now, when he knows, he has the opportunity to be more healthy than before. Why he should be more healthy? Because he now knows what to eat and he can choose and he has his free will. And if he will think about the diabetes as something that happened to him, and he will ask, why it happened to me? Why it happened to you? Because you ate chocolate for 30 years, or you had cakes and you're not allowed to eat so many cakes. That's why it happened to you. It's not a punishment. But if he won't ask himself why it happened to him, but he will ask, what can I do from here? How can I develop myself from here? How can now I put restrictions, but enjoy those restrictions and teach myself to love and to find passion to healthy, good food that will help me gain back control on my life. Only then he will find that the diabetes was a kind of a present to him. It's like, understand it, what does it mean, the present? It helped him to know himself better and to discover his inner powers and to know himself better, and not only that, and to be a healthier person. It's the same in the realm of our mental health. If we know what bothers us and we understand the emotions that controls us or try to control us, it could be a tendency to anxiety or despair or depression or fear or anxiety, it doesn't matter, or to be lazy, or doesn't matter, each kind of emotion. If you will know the block of happiness, what blocks us from happiness, and we will be ready to fight it, to go against it, to find other ways that we will minimize the power of this attribute, then we will discover other forces, other attributes, other inner powers that we have, and we will develop ourselves. So, and the result will be happiness. What is happiness and how can we find it? Let's start. First point that I want to point on. First, we said contemplation or meditation, something like that. It's in Hebrew, it's התבוננות. התבוננות, it's, as I said before, it's understanding and implementing. Not only knowing and understanding, but being connected to the thing itself. So the first point, sometimes happiness is that I'm not, most of the time, happiness, when somebody is not happy, that means he says, I do not accept the place that I'm in. I want to be in another place, in another relationship. I want to have another spouse. I deserve better. I deserve a better job. I deserve better wife, better children, other children. I don't deserve those children, after all what I gave to him. I deserve better apartment or house, doesn't matter. When somebody is not happy, he declares he wants something else, and he does not really appreciate what he has in his life, what he has in his life. So he wants to be in a different place. Most of the divorces that we hear about, or it's usually when a person says, I don't want really to be in this relationship. Why? Because I want to be in another place. I deserve another spouse, another match. And from the beginning, usually we know how to have a retrospective picture of our relationship and to make it black. And we said from the beginning, we didn't match together. It wasn't the right match for me. I was so young. I was foolish. I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention. The environment pushed me. I suffered from pressure. I was too old, not old, but I wasn't ready for that. All kinds of reasons why I'm not in my place. So a person is not happy when he's not in his place, when he's lack of something. When we talked about consciousness of richness, of health, of wealth, we talked about consciousness that you are not going in the world and you think you are lack of something, that you need something. You feel that you have everything you need. What is to be poor? To be poor is that you need something from someone else. You are waiting for someone to redeem you. What is to be rich? I'm not waiting for nobody. I have everything that I need in order to do, in order to create, in order to influence. And sometimes when I walk in consciousness of poorness, as we said, it's like I feel that nobody accepts me, that I don't have a place in the world, in this world. So unhappiness is when you do not accept yourself and your place. And there is a bit of contradiction, because any person should always strive to be a better him, to gain more from this life, physically, materialistically, and spiritually. When somebody says, I have enough, I should stay in this place, he does not develop himself. He shouldn't want in order that he will have better things, but he should want to do more businesses, to do more, to write more, in order that he will discover his inner powers, the powers that are waiting in him to discover themselves. So he has an ever-ending challenge to discover what he has inside of him, his potential. And without discovering his potential, there is something so sad when a person does not discover his potential, because it's like, think about the Ukraine, maybe before the war. People there, now it's maybe not so popular to use this example, but before the war, there were lack of initiative and innovative thought, and the thought that each person in our society can break boundaries and can get more out of his life. This is a very Jewish idea. I wrote the book Upside Down, Jewish creativity, the Jewish way, and how to implement and to find my life mission. And this book was translated even to Chinese, and we didn't yet translate it to English. But the whole idea of the book is each one of us should strive for more, should want more from his life. But still, sometimes I feel that I'm not in my place, as I said before. So how can you solve it? What is the first contemplation that we should suggest? The first contemplation is to accept ourselves unconditionally. When a child comes to his parents and is suffering from undesirable emotion, he's in stress or anxiety, the first thing that we should do is give him a place that nobody is now wanting to be in another place. Nobody pushes him to be in another place, to be something that he is not. When you can accept yourself as you are, it's not against, it does not contradict the idea of developing myself. I must have a place where I accept myself with all my failures, with everything I did, with the fact that people think that I'm not good enough, that I do not push myself enough. Without having this place, I'm always in self-blame. I always sees myself as I'm not in the right place. I'm not doing enough. I'm always in accusations against myself. And as a child need this point, every child need this point, that his parents and his surroundings accept himself without judging him, without criticizing him. There is this other point that you push him to gain more, but there is this tendency, there is this way that you see him, that he feels that he can accept himself, that he can be. That means that I could be happy only because I am alive, I exist. My existence is a source of happiness. Why? Because if I exist, that means that somebody created me. And if somebody created me, and he created me in this moment, that means he loves me. And if he loves me, that means he accepts me now unconditionally. This is the first idea, one of the most important ideas in Judaism, that the Creator embrace and love and cherish each one of the creators, of the one that he created, without any condition. Later, not in time, but later in something that you build next level, he will accept from you. He will want from you to do something, to push yourself forward, to do more, to gain more out of yourself, to derive outside your inner abilities, to show your what you have in yourself, what he gave you, and not to lose potential. But now the first level is that accepting you unconditionally. And in the Tanya, the monumental book of the Alter Rebbe, he is saying in the second chapter that each one of us has a godly soul. Godly soul, that means that you are a part of something that is greater than you. It's like you have something that is a part of the Creator. And when you can just to think about it, it's not only that I accept myself, I should accept every other person. Sometimes I do not accept others because I do not accept myself. When I am so judgmental and critic and a person that it's not nice to be near to him, because he's always wanting people, and when I come home and nothing is in the place, and I'm upset, and I have always something to say to one of the members of my family, and it's like, maybe I'm right in everything that I'm saying, but nobody can live near to someone that is so right. Peace, that is the opposite of being right, of justice. Justice, it's something very strong. There is no way to bound yourself a bit, to be a part of. Sometimes it's more important, or most of the times, it's more important not to be right, to be clever, to be a part of something, of a family. When you're always right, you do not let other people to grow next to you. They always feel that you are the right person. And if you are right, and if you are a very talented guy, it's more difficult, because you're sure you're right. But what you do, it's like you do not let nobody grow around you. So, and the first thing that you should come home with, sometimes I come home and I always critic about something, why that, and I see the children getting to their rooms and getting back to their electronics, and I ask my wife, why they are running to the room when I come home, and she says, look at you, look how you look like. Nobody wants to be with you. And when I'm doing the other experiment and I'm getting home and I'm smiling, happy, loving, trying to not to see the things that I do not like, and not always to criticize, I see them getting out of the room, and now they are in the salon all together. They do not need a sign that Father is doing on himself a self-work and he's changing himself and he learned Tanya. No, they smell you. They smell that you came in a different attitude, in a different mood. And this is really what they want. And now you are like accepting them without any condition. And when you accept them without any condition, now they can accept themselves without conditions. And accepting themselves without conditions, it's like the first thing that I want, like I allow myself to be. And the author of the Tanya in chapter 33, I think, says like that. He says something very unique, that each one of us should be in such a joyful state of mind, because he knows that he was created in this moment. And like the creator is standing, it's like, let me maybe use his language. When one will deeply contemplate this, it means that is being created in this moment, and the creator is around him, is creating him. He didn't create him in the past, he's now creating him. So there is a reason why he's creating him. But beneath this reason, there is endless love. His heart shall be full of gladness when you contemplate on this point that you are being loved. You are being created, you are being loved. His heart should be gladdened, and his soul will rejoice, even with joy and singing, with all heart and soul and might. So it's like you understand something, that you are not always should be the best or should always be what other people want you to be. You can allow yourself just to be. And this is the first contemplation, and each one of us should, get deep into it and try to find a place in his life that he accept himself as he is, without any change. Later on, we said not in time, but next level, you have to change yourself. You have to rectify yourself. You have to prepare yourself and to work on yourself. But the first level, the first pillar that happiness stands on is that I accept myself. Without accepting myself, I want to be in another place. And if I want to be in another place, I'm not in my place. And if I'm not in my place, I could never be happy. I would never accept myself. It doesn't matter if I reach the highest peak. It will always, I will sell my company and earn billions. I will do huge things if I do not accept myself. When I poor and when I have money, when I did something good and when, thing flopped out of my hand. When I succeeded to be a great husband and a father, and when I didn't. If I do not accept myself, I won't accept others. But this is not the main point. If I do not accept myself, I will never be in a state of happiness. It's not enough, but it's the first pillar. It's the first contemplation. And how can I know when I do not accept myself? When I'm always in a point that I have something bad to say about myself. I cannot, I'm not satisfied. It's good not to be satisfied. It's a great engine, but one should have two ideas in his hands, like to walk on two roads in the same time. First road is never be satisfied. The second road is always be satisfied. Always accept yourself. Without that, you won't be able to find another engine. Sometimes we think that the engine, the place that will motivate us, the engine that will motivate us in life is when we are not satisfied. No, this is not a good engine. We can find a better engine. A better engine is that I want to discover my inner attributes, my inner powers, my inner abilities, my inner potential. That's what I want to do. It's not like because I do not accept myself, because I dissatisfied. It's because I want to do more. And it's a different engine of that will push us forward. It's like, in a carnival nutrition, you can find nutrition that works on sugar, nutrition that works on fat. Try I'm not carnivore, but try the fat one. The fat one is something in you that push you forward. So I don't want to go further more than 20-25 minutes in each talk, so we'll stay with this contemplation for this talk, and I thought that I will finish 3, but let's start with this one, and tomorrow we'll do the next one. I think maybe we will be able to do more than one, but the first idea is accept myself, because if somebody created me, that means that somebody loves me and somebody accepts me unconditionally. So I should accept myself unconditionally, and I should accept others first of all. Like it's not that I'm not suspicious sometimes if I'm doing business. It's not that I'm not in a place that I'm checking things, but I have this tendency in my heart, that I have this point of view that I accept my children, my wife, everyone that is around me. I give him credit. And I'm letting him be. You want to be? Let others be. You don't want everyone to judge you, don't judge others. That's a very basic rule in life. More than that, you want to be happy? Accept yourself as you are. Otherwise, I always want to be in a place that I'm not in. I will never be satisfied in my place, because I always lack of something. Okay, this was the first contemplation, the first meditation that will help us gain happiness. Let's think about tomorrow about the next one. You are more than welcome to subscribe to our new channel. It's not so new, but only now we are serious about this channel, and to follow us in this journey. We are penetrating, diving into Jewish psychology and all kind of writings in Jewish psychology, mainly Kabbalistic and Hasidic writings, and derive out of it tools and practical tools that can help us change our life. See you in the next meditation, in the next talk, in the next video. All the best, and try to be more happy today. It's the antidote to all the diseases. Instead of taking a pill against something, happiness can help us win more, but it's not easy. We are starting.